Thank you for downloading this in-ear entertainment podcast. You're listening to Shakespeare's Sonnets. Sonnet 46. Mine eye and heart are at mortal war. How to divide the conquest of thy sight? Mine eye, my heart, thy picture's sight would bar. My heart, mine eye, the freedom of that night. Right. Right. My heart doth plead that thou in him dost lie, a closet never pierced with crystal eyes. But the defendant doth that plea deny, and says in him thy fair appearance lies. To cide this title is impannelled, a quest of thoughts or tenants to the heart, and by their verdict is determined the clear eye's moiety and the dear heart's part. And thus mine eye due to thy as thus mine eye due is thine outward part, and my heart's right thine inward love of heart. Oh, I might edit that together. That was Sonnet 46 of Shakespeare's Sonnets. I apologise for getting that incredibly wrong. There's a weird thing I seem to find with the sonnets, that if I do them faster, I make less mistakes. Whereas if you do them slow and actually try and think about what word should come next, your brain doesn't do very well. Anyway, that's Sonnet 46 of Shakespeare's Sonnets. I'm Mark Chatterley, and I am joined by the he's a bit ill at the moment. And even Skype is giving him this kind of soft focus look at the moment.
Yeah, for some reason the video chat isn't quite up to it today. But my name is Thierry Heles, as every time, really. You should know it by now.
Hopefully, unless we're getting different people, a different same number of people downloading it every month, every week, or however. How often do we release
Twice a week, Mark.
Twice a week, that's the one. Oh, I should know this. I do it all on
You're
the
the
side.
one who uploads it.
Yeah, blimey. Okay. So Sonnet 46, and I do apologise for that atrocious reading. I have practiced these, believe it or not, but every now and then you do come across a sonnet which just doesn't make sense when you read it. And I think this might be one of them. What do you think, Thierry? Let's go to the sick person so I can laugh at your opinion.
Oh dear. Apparently it relates to Sonnet 47, which isn't much help yet. But apparently they both debate the heart and the eye.
Yeah, we are heading into a theme of hearts and eyes and how they differ and how they view things, I guess. Which
is a fairly... I'm not sure how it was at Shakespeare's time, but today that's a fairly simple idea. Look with your heart, not with your mind or with your eye. And...
Yeah, I would imagine there's always been the idea that or we didn't really, as a species, and I might be wrong here, but I believe I'm right. We, as a species, we didn't know that information was stored in the brain, and that the brain was responsible for emotion and memory and personality, and it was believed that the heart was responsible for emotion. So I and this is me going out on a stretch and the limb of my knowledge, but if that holds true, and someone please correct me if it doesn't, then seeing with your heart is essentially seeing with your emotion, and seeing with your eye would be seeing a factual representation of someone.
It does sound true, and you can sort of understand. I mean, even today, people use the heart for emotion, I guess, because it's just sort of become part of our language now. But if you, whatever your emotion is, whether you're, I don't know, you fear, love, they're all. I mean, your heart. That's sort of the region where you feel that emotion. Your heart beats faster or slower or whatever the emotion is.
Yeah, I suppose you emotional. The physical effects of emotion are felt in the other organs.
Yes, yeah.
So you get butterflies in your stomach. You might get acid churn in your stomach. Your heart beats faster. Yeah, I can see that. So there's a logical reason, I suppose, for believing that's where they emanated from. But I suppose I was just in my own little head wandering off while you were talking then, so I have no idea what you just said. But I agree. I fully agree.
That's always a good thing. Just say yes, just nod and...
Yeah, just agree. But I was thinking about I've told you before the weird way my mind works when I see people that I don't... maybe I've talked about it in this podcast before. If I have, I apologise. That I don't have physical representations of people in my head. I can't describe what people look like.
You've mentioned that before. I'm not sure you actually mentioned it on the podcast.
But I've been reading about face blindness, and it must be something related to that. I've been trying to work it out because I'd love to know. But basically, and please tell me, people out there, if you agree, if this happens to you, or if you know someone it happens to, or you know what this is, because I just feel like a freak. Because I can't picture in my head what my parents look like, what my brother or sister looks like. I can't picture what my husband looks like. I literally have no... I know my other half has dark ginger hair, only because I once called him Ginger and got shouted at, and it's dark ginger. And so I know that. But other elements of his features and body aren't in my head. And it's very weird. And so I find... And the reason I'm talking about this is one, I want someone to tell me what's wrong with my head, so I would really love to...
a really, really weird word, prosopagnosia, which is the inability to recognize faces.
Yes, but I can do that. If I see someone, I know who it is. So the information must be there somewhere. I'm just not able to recall it consciously, I guess. So it's a fear of mine that something's going to happen to me. I'm going to get mugged or worse. And the police are going to go, what did they look like? I don't know. I can't even tell you what they were wearing. All of that information just isn't in my head. And it's very weird.
Although they've done several studies. That's why eyewitnesses don't work. Because everyone sort of creates an image of their head, what they think happened after the fact. Unless you have a photographic memory where you just register every detail that's there. You can have someone mug someone and 5 people giving 5 completely different descriptions of the mugger. Because everyone just... It happens so quickly, and it's such a weird scenario, even though it happens every day, that your brain just screws it up.
Interesting. So maybe I'm on the extreme of a bell curve that I can't do that. But I think the reason I'm talking about this is sonnets like this, where it's talking about pictures in your eye and in your mind, and he's recalling what people look like. I have no link into sonnets like this because I can't do it. And literally, when you see in movies, I've been watching Revolution 2012. Oh, it's such a
I don't
bad
understand
sci-fi.
how you are still sticking with that show.
Finished the first series. It's so bad that it's gone past bad.
It hasn't even finished yet. They broke it off halfway across the series. The network just went, well, this is not going anywhere. We're going to put you on a 4-month break or something. And then they cut the series short because then obviously the show would have gone on into June, which is pointless to any network in America. Shows end in May. So they had to cut 2 episodes short at the end and just basically said to the writers, please just figure out what the hell this show is doing.
Yes, it's very weird that the whole idea that all electrical power stops, except for that in the human body that apparently continues working. So we've got nothing that can pump water. We've got nothing that can generate electricity. Every electrical device stops, and then what happens is they jump 18 years into the future. So they've gone past the bit that's of interest to everyone, which is how people cope when that happens, to 18 years in the future.
Where we're just living on farms and...
We're living on farms or dying in cities. But in that 18 years, because they walk... There's one point, towards the sort of 3/4 of the way through the series, they walk into a village, and they're very shocked and surprised to find the main bad guy has managed to get a steam train working. It's taken them 18 years to realise they can use steam technology.
This is America we're talking about. I'm pretty sure the education there is fairly bad.
But the reason in that it had a woman who carried around an iPhone with her because somewhere on the iPhone were pictures of her kids, and she was having trouble, sort of 18 years on, remembering what her kids looked like. And it was really touching. I quite liked it because in the modern world we don't have pictures, so you would, all my images are on my iPhone. But for me, that wouldn't matter because the images that are on my iPhone, I can tell you there's images of my friends on there, my other half on there. I don't know. I can't tell you what they look like. I can't. So to me, when you get in movies, I can, someone's mum dies and then 4 years later, every day I find it harder to remember what her face was like. I can't remember that on day one. So that emotional setting doesn't key in with me. And I guess that's how I feel a bit about this sonnet. Is it doesn't really strike an emotional chord with me because my brain doesn't work in the way that I guess most people's do.
I mean, you're the only person I've ever come across who, that I know of, who has that problem. I don't know.
Yeah. I realise I'm weird for it. And I don't know, because there are probably people out there going, he's making this up, this is just a way he wants to feel special. I swear to you, I'm looking at Thierry now, and I can tell you, I can describe him to you. I could easily describe him to you, because I'm looking at him. If he turned off his camera, I would find that incredible. Oh, don't cover up your camera.
What's my hair colour?
I know you've got a beard.
That's good.
It's either you're not. See, in my head, I want to say blonde, but then I get an image of that of sort of German bleach blonde, which is wrong,
wow.
isn't it? I know that's wrong.
I'm not Aryan. But yeah.
Do you wear glasses?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. See, this is what I mean. I all of these things just fly out of my head. Okay, you do wear glasses.
I do.
Okay, so your hair, it's not actually blonde at all, is it?
Dark blonde. It looks darker on the camera, but it's like dark blonde-ish.
Oh, yeah. So that's why I'm not talking about this sonnet, is because it's all about how the heart and the eye see someone differently, and I don't understand how the eye sees someone. I think that was a very long explanation for why I don't connect to this sonnet. Sorry.
These. I mean. We are recording this the same as the one you heard on Tuesday.
Yes.
So I have a feeling this one's gone quite... I'm not even sure. I think we've been talking for like 10, 15 minits. We should get back to the sonnet.
Yeah, 15 minutes I think we've been talking about my weird brain. Sorry.
We've had this before. I can't remember which sonnet it was, but we're going back to quite a lot of legal jargon here. We have the defendant, that plead and deny... We have the moiety, that weird words, which I guess comes from French. That's it.
It looks vaguely French to me.
Moitié means half in French.
There's verdict in there as well. Yeah, so it's a very legalese way of doing it. I quite like the line about a third of the way through. A closet never... Is it a closet? Yeah, a closet never pierced with crystal eyes. Which is lovely. Makes no sense, but is lovely.
It probably... The closet never pierced with crystal eyes.
I just don't understand the crystal eyes. That's in there as if it should mean something, but I don't get that reference. If it does mean something, maybe something in Greek history.
Apparently, it's a common metaphor used in sonnets. Crystal eyes.
Oh, it must be very common because we've got to sonnet 46 and it's come up countless times.
Crystal is used as a synonym for eyes.
Okay. See, I didn't know that. Interesting, though. I can kind of see why.
Yeah,
you look into a crystal and you get all the reflections and refractions of eyes. That makes sense.
I'm not quite sure why he would repeat it. If crystal means eyes, why have crystal eyes?
Well, if crystal in sonnets and poetries is a synonym for eyes, then something being pierced with crystal eyes would be something being described in poetry. So my heart doth plead that thou in him dost lie, a closet never pierced with crystal eyes. So maybe no poet has ever described the love that Shakespeare feels for the fair youth, which is kept in his heart, with the closet being the heart.
Yes, sir. Which is a very nice way to have that whole, oh, never's ever felt this way before.
Yeah.
Which every time you're in love, even about your previous loves, you often just go, I know I've never felt this way. You go, yeah, you have. Really, it's just the same emotion all over again. It's just your mind tricking you with just a shitload of drugs it produces.
Yeah, and I suppose each time you love someone, you love different things about them.
Well, yeah, every love is different, but the whole chemical reactions are just...
Oh, yeah. But each time, because you focus on different elements, then I suppose it does make it a new experience.
Unless you fall in love with the same type of person just every time.
How boring would that be?
I know people who just have one type and that's just what they go for. It just...
Yeah, but
it's not a conscious decision. It's not like you control who you fall in love with.
No, that's true.
That's unfortunately and fortunately that's not how it works.
It would be much easier to
but it was quite boring if you could.
Yeah, but if I could find out, like, for example, who you fall in with every time, it would be really simple to engineer situations that, like I know you. I think you should go out with this person. I just need to make this person act in a certain way.
I have a character type, sort of, but.
Ooh. Ooh, I want to know. What is your character type? Hang on, I'm going to guess. I think this is like that scene in Total Recall where, blonde, brunette, redhead, you're like the athletic, slim dominatrix. I think you like quite intelligent, powerful women. That's what I'm going to go with.
I like intelligence. I mean, I like artsy people.
Okay.
More on the creative end of the spectrum.
Okay.
I don't like. I don't think I've ever actually. No, I don't think I've ever liked a sciencey person. Not that I have anything against those people. I mean, I can be quite a nerd in that regard myself, but
I don't think I could go out with a creative person. They're too unpredictable, I think. That's where I come from on that.
They can be very unpredictable.
But then I don't really get to indulge this side of my being married and all. I'm not allowed to go, who would I date? That's not a good thing to do.
Well, you can still, I guess, maybe not say to your husband if, if you ever...
When you die, I'm going to go find this type of person. Not the best. Especially not on today, Valentine's Day. Not good to have that discussion.
Just give him a picture of whatever person you find attractive and just go, as soon as you...
Bugger off. This is what I'm doing. Just die now. Just die now.
Just go push daisies and I'll push this guy.
Yeah, that's probably not good. No, let's not talk about killing my other half. I don't want to do that.
Happy Valentine's Day on the 4th of April or whatever day it is today.
But it's Valentine's Day for us.
It's Valentine's
Day all that matters.
That's how it works.
Yes, okay, Sonnet. So this sonnet is very much, and the next one I think has very similar themes, which is how do the heart and the eye see different people? How to divide the conquest of thy sight, mine eye, my heart, thy picture's sight would bar. So, ooh, that's interesting. My eye, my heart, thy picture's sight would bar. So it's saying the heart is barring the eye, is stopping the eye from seeing? My heart, mine eye, the freedom of that right. My heart gives the eye the freedom. It's quite dense at the beginning. There's too much mind.
So the eye is stopping the heart from seeing?
Yes. Or the other way round. Mine eye, my heart, thy picture's sight would bar. And my heart, mine eye, the freedom of that right. So they are, they're in war. And that's what he says. They're in mortal war. They're each trying to alter the way the other one sees something. I think is what's happening there. And I think that comes back to the beginning of the way the heart would see someone compared to the eye would see someone. One's a factual representation and one's a emotional representation, I guess.
Which is how it works. I mean, they do. Not the actual eye and the actual eye and the actual heart, but they do influence each other. When you have the facts, you see something differently, or when you love someone or you fear something, you see it differently from what you would usually see them as.
Yes, and then so once we've gone past that segment, we get into what the nice metaphor, a closet never pierced with crystal eyes, which I think is lovely. But the defendant doth that plea deny, and says in him thy fair appearance lies. To cide this title is impannelled, a quest of thoughts or tenants to the heart, and by the verdict is determined that a clear eye's moiety and dear heart's part. Moiety we might not be saying correctly. Sorry. never come across that word before. And thus mine eye's due is thine outward part, and my heart's right, thine inward love of heart. Yeah, so yeah, the eye is seeing the outward, the physical appearance of the youth, and the heart is seeing the inner love, the inner light.
And at this point, they're just split equally from what I get. That the clear eyes moiety and the dear heart's part, so it's just half and half.
Yes, they've agreed.
Yeah,
they seem to have agreed that we will half and half see the fair youth as this, which is definitely a step on from the beginning, where everything about the fair youth was, you could argue, seen through the heart. The fair youth was seen as a perfect being, the brought to earth representation of love, the flowers paled in comparison to him. And so this is probably a big breakthrough on Shakespeare's part to realise that at least half of him is just...
But that's sort of how love works. You have the infatuation in the early stages, and just the other person is the most perfect being you've ever come across. And then slowly that sort of fades away and the butterflies go away, and then you love them. Your mind actually... I don't know how to describe it. You just starts respecting them, and...
Yeah, you love them for what they are
rather than what you see.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's probably a big step for any relationship is getting past what you thought the person was.
Which apparently is also a breakup point for a lot of relationships.
Yeah.
Because that's when most people go, I don't love you anymore. And she's like, no, that's just, yeah, infatuation is gone. That's actually where the loving bit starts. That's how it works.
Yeah, it's the horniness and the infatuation is gone, and now it's, make or break. You either love them and want to spend your life with them, or
at least the foreseeable future.
Yes, I'd like to think people still plan on it being life.
Yeah, well, I guess at some point you will. In any relationship, eventually you'll just go, maybe this is for life.
Yeah, and forsake all horniness of others. I will not do the naughty with that person over there. I will instead do the naughty with you while thinking of that person over there.
Well, for some people still go and do the naughty with other people.
Well, that's true. And if you've got permission from your other half, I have no problem with that.
If it's all consenting people.
Yeah, exactly. Fine. I have no issue. With a couple of sidebars about my weird brain and various things, that was Sonnet 46. How do you feel? Do you feel up to reading this one out?
I'll try and read us out. Just so many M's in this one. This is gonna...
I'm just gonna sit here going...
Sonnet 46. Mine eye and heart are at a mortal war, how to divide the conquest of thy sight. Mine eye, my heart, thy pictures side would bar, my heart, mine eye, the freedom of that right. My heart doth plead that thou in him dost lie, a closet never pierced with crystal eyes, but the defendant doth
You got halfway through.
I got through the first quatrain.
You did well. Better than me, I think.
My heart doth plead that thou in him dost lie, a closet never pierced with crystal eyes, but the defendant doth that plea deny, and says in him thy fair appearance lies. To cite this title is impannelled, a quest of thoughts all tenants to the heart, and by thy verdict is determined to I was just... How is it not determined to? That's how that works.
And by the verdict is determined. Yeah, there needs to be a comma at least at the end of that line. Stupid Shakespeare.
And by their verdict is determined the clear eye's moiety and the dear heart's part. As thus, mine eye's due is thine outward part, and my heart's right, thine inward love of heart.
That was lovely. Thank you very much. That was Sonnet 46 of William Shakespeare's sonnets. I've been Mark Chatterley. Once again apologise for derailing conversations. You can follow me on Twitter at Nufkin.
And I've been Thierry Heles, and you can follow me on Twitter at Sound of Seagulls.
And we will see you again next time for Sonnet 47.
Goodbye.
Bye. You've been listening to Shakespeare Sonnets with Mark Chatterley and Thierry Heles. This has been an In-Ear Entertainment podcast. To listen to other podcasts or find out more about In-Ear Entertainment, go to www.inearentertainment.com.